This is Knuckle-up TV. I'm with the one and only Mickey Moo. How you doing, sir?
Good, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Busy day today. We're at the gym, which is home to Richard COMMEY, while he's in London.
Yeah, Richard COMMEY. We've got MICAH here. We've got Josh Nelson here. We've got also got Freddie Hewitt here. He's just gone off to the States. Yeah, it's going well. Everything's going well.
Good. Last time I saw you was at the press conference for Charles Martin, Anthony Joshua, and you was tight-knit with Prince Charles while he was in London pre-fight. So you had a close-up hand to how the preparations was going and how the fight was panning out beforehand. What actually happened? Because he didn't turn up on that night, did he?
I'm not sure whether he didn't turn up on that night or he was taken by surprise by Joshua's speed. You know, I don't think, personally, I don't think it was the fact that he was hurt. I think he was caught totally unawares by Joshua's speed, and credit to Joshua. I mean, the training camp, his trainers saying to him, look, your first 4 rounds, you've got to make sure you run it, you know, because this kid's going to come at you, and rightly so. He's at home, he's got all the advantages. I mean, he wants the belt, he's a hungry young fighter. And he done just that, you know. I mean, he came straight out, and I think it surprised Charles more than anything. So, yeah, because as you can see in reaction to the knockdowns, it wasn't like he was out on his feet or knocked out. It was bemusement and kind of surprise that he was sitting on the floor, really, you know. So, yeah, it was one of those things. I mean, well done to Anthony Joshua. He answered all the questions that were asked of him. You know, I personally thought it might be a tricky fight for him. I personally thought that Charles Martin would pose a lot of questions that no one else has done, but he overcame them, and all credit to him. You know, I mean, he's done really well.
Can you see Anthony Joshua as a champion, long distance, long haul champion, or is he going to be a 15-minute wonder?
Oh, definitely not a 15-minute wonder, because I think he's got the might of Matchroom and Sky behind him, and they're all powerful in what they do and how they do it. They'll match him well, and they'll look for the right fights for him. You know what I mean? As I did say before in my early interviews, the fact that now he's a world champion, he will face stiffer competition, but you know, with the power and with what Sky and Matchroom have got now, not just in the UK, but their contacts across the pond, you know what I mean, I think they'll match him very well.
Okay, do you see him, obviously, there's 2-3 other gentlemen in this country which would make brilliant pay-per-view dust-ups, all British dust-ups, i.e. Tyson Fury, David Haye, and even a rematch with Dillian Whyte, to a degree, right? Where do you see Joshua and David Haye in the ring? Who would win that if they were to ever come in the ring together?
I mean, again, it's like the Charles Martin conundrum. David Haye's coming back from a long layoff. You know, with a fighter coming back as good as David Haye is, you'd want 2 or 3 fights before you got him with someone like Joshua. And from Joshua's point of view, you'd want, you know, 2 or 3 harder fights before you got on with David Haye. So it's a kind of, okay, yeah, I mean, what would happen? I don't think anyone can say, there's no form guide to it, because David Haye, he's only had the 1 fight since he's been back. Now he needs 2 or 3. Then everyone can make his fair assessment of where he is. You know, he had a long-term injury, so you need to know if the wear and tear of that isn't going to come back. And likewise with Joshua, you know, he knocked Charles out in 2 rounds. The only fight he really did have was Dillian Whyte. You know, you'd like to think that David Haye would pose a lot more questions than that. And David Haye's obviously got a lot more speed and stuff. So, you know, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, you build that fight up. You let them have a couple more fights each, 2 or 3 fights each, and then you'd get a really good form guide of what could possibly happen.
Okay. And Tyson Fury, I don't think he's ready for Tyson Fury yet, is he? Let Tyson Fury get through Klitschko first.
I mean, of all the heavyweights, I think, in my opinion, Tyson Fury is the one that's got the weakest chin. You know, I mean, he got put down by Steve Cunningham, who's really a cruiserweight. He got put down again in Ireland by another guy. You know, and Joshua, I mean, he punches hard and punches straight and true. So, you know what I mean? Although Tyson's very good on his feet, he's, you know what I mean? He's very, you know, I mean, he's got great movability for a heavy man. You know what I mean? again, it's one of those ones, you know, Tyson can muck you about and really, you know what I mean, stick it on you without even hurting you, you know.
Fascinating though, isn't it? Just
mess you up, do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, no, of course.
And the old adage, styles make fights, what, you know what I mean? And we all know that Tyson can go to 12 rounds at a pace, you know what I mean, for a heavyweight. So that's another question that we posed at Anthony Joshua. So that remains to be seen on that one.
It's all to play for, really, isn't it? When you think about it, it's all out in the air. It's all out in the open.
But you've got John O'Wilder fighting Povetkin over in Russia. You know, I saw John say in Brooklyn, and I thought he acquitted himself really well against a kind of cagey opponent, but he knocked him out and knocked him spark out in the end. And you know, with his height, with his reach, and with his willingness to fight, you know what I mean? There's another question that's going to be posed, you know?
They're all, I would look at all the heavyweights, so Joshua, Dillian White, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Joshua, David Haye, they're all they're all heavyweights, but they all pose different threats to each other.
Pose different threats. I don't think you can put Dillian White in the same category, and that's only because of experience and because of where he is. I don't think you can put him in the same category. The others you're talking about are either world champions or have been world champions. You know, which brings a whole new ball game to a fight.
Why I'm adding him to the mix is the way that the fight that he had with Joshua and the way he challenged him, where all the other heavyweights haven't challenged him.
That was just a fight with Joshua. You're bringing him into a mix with others who have been fighting at world title. So no disrespect to Dillian, but he's only had the one fight with Joshua, and that was a fight with Joshua before he was a world champion. Everybody knows when you become a world champion,
it becomes a different story.
You become automatically a 20% better fighter because you've reached your pinnacle, you've reached the goal of being a world champion. So automatically your confidence is there. You know what I mean? You know more about the game, the big occasion and stuff like that. That's why I would say in Dillian's point, I know he's fought the O2 with Joshua, but the others have fought on massive scales, massive fights, world title fights. And if he had 2 or 3 more fights like he did with Joshua, then you could put him back into that mix. And I think he knows that as well. He was injured when he fought Joshua as well. He had a shoulder injury. Do you know what I mean? So if he has 2 or 3 fights, fully fit, 3 really good camps behind him, I think you'll see a lot better Dillian White.
Who would you like to see Dillian White in with for him to sort of bounce back into that mix?
Look at Derek Chisora. That's what I mean. Derek Chisora. I mean, he lost against Derek Chisora. Always brings something to the table. You know what I mean? And I think now, I don't think Pulev's
Shannon Briggs,
one of the best.
Shannon Briggs and Dillian White.
Shannon Briggs. I'd like to see Dillian with
David Price.
Not with David Price. No, I mean David Price. I think he's got some issues to overcome himself. Personally, that's my
insecurity.
I wouldn't know insecurity. I would just say just to get his confidence up, get a few fights behind him. You know what I mean? He had that. Obviously, he had that terrible knockout, and then subsequently the guy was proven to be. He failed a drug test.
Steroids?
Yeah, he failed a drug test or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, all those things in David's head and losing and whatnot. You know what I mean? I think he needs to get himself busy rather than rush back to the top, getting busy, getting him fighting, maybe lesser opponents than Dillian White and Derek Chisora, and just get himself back up there. There's no rush for him. Just get himself, because the fighters are there, they're out there for him, but just get that little bit of, you know what I mean?
Fingers crossed he's still a draw in Liverpool, isn't he, at the Echo Arena?
I think he's still a draw in the UK.
As well?
He's still a draw in the UK, because I think people will be intrigued to see, because listen, by all accounts, he bangs hard. By all accounts, he hits like a mule. Do you know what I mean? So that's always an equaliser in this game, especially at heavyweight. So, but with David, it's just getting those fights under his belt and just getting that little bit of confidence going, so he can feel
getting the buzz back in him.
Yeah, and then he can feel comfortable in the ring and not going into the unknown and thinking, oh, what's going to happen here? Do you know what I mean? And that's where I see he was. You know what I mean? Not kind of quite sure what he was doing going into the ring, and that insecurity, that's what it looked like to me on the outside. So 2 or 3 fights again with him will put his mind at right, and then he can kind of get back into the mix.
Okay. We're going to come back to your local boys, the guys that are closer to you. So Richard COMMEY, Joshua Nelson, etc. What's your plans for Richard COMMEY?
Well, Richard's is pretty much straightforward. Richard's is pretty much straightforward. I mean, unfortunately, what our plans were for Richard was when we won the Commonwealth title to get more experience fighting Commonwealth level opponents. Unfortunately, we didn't get no offers for anyone from the UK to fight Richard, apart from Malcolm Klassen, who offered on the back end of us getting offered the an IBF final eliminator. So we was kind of in limbo whether we could take that fight or not. But before that, we didn't get no offers, which was very, very disappointing for us. Then Richard went on to win the IBF Intercontinental in Vegas, which was a tough fight for us to take. You know, we went over there. It was the first time any of us had been over there to the States in that environment in Vegas. And Richard was, you know, it wasn't one of his best performances, but what he showed is that he's a tremendous fighter. And under tremendous adversity, you know, I mean, he'll come through. After winning that, the IBF went down the list, called a mandatory, went down the list, and no one in the top 15 wanted to fight Richard. Again, which was a bit of disappointment for us, because it's all a learning curve for Richard. Experience of fighting people at that, boxers of that level, you know, which unfortunately didn't have. So we was asked to vacate that belt by the IBF in turn for a final eliminator shot. So we vacated the belt. The IBF then again went down a list in the top 15 to fight Richard for a chance to fight for the world title, for a final eliminator, and no one came forward, which again, it's just crazy. Do you know what I mean? But
why do you think that is? Why are people avoiding him?
He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. Yeah, I mean, managers and promoters want to protect their fighters, which,
all the time.
Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a shame really, because you know you shouldn't have to wait to world titles for the best to fight the best. You know what I mean? There could be great fights in small hall shows. There could be great fights in eliminators. You know, because it's a way of getting to the top and it's a way of getting experience. I mean, I've always said I'd put Richard in with anybody. Do you know?
Have you spoke to Eddie Hearn about him and Anthony Crolla?
Eddie Hearn, I mean, I don't know if he's gone on record, but I know I've heard through the grapevine that he doesn't really fancy putting Richard in with any of his fighters. So that's what I've heard, which is a shame really, because you know we would, you know what I mean, we would jump at the opportunity to fight any of the lightweights that are in the matchroom or in the Warren stable or anywhere.
Terry Flanagan,
or anywhere. We've had Terry Flanagan. Yeah, we jump at the opportunity.
Gary Matthews.
To fight anyone. Gary Matthews wouldn't fight Richard. We were supposed to fight him for the Commonwealth title, and he got stripped. Sorry, so because they waited too long for it, and he got stripped. So, you know, it's just a shame. But we're in this position now where we're hopefully Richard will be fighting for the world title at some point this year. So we just wait.
Fingers crossed. It's Mickey Moon. How are we doing, sir? You right?
I'm good. I'm good.
We're going to touch on the historic Ghanaian boxing, the rich depth of history that Ghanaian boxing has produced in the last
30 years.
40 years, going back to the Professor.
Yeah, Professor, before the Professor. DK Poison won the first world title.
Yeah.
Then obviously you've got, Azuma Nelson, you've got Ike Porty, you've got
Joseph Clottey,
you've got Joseph Egbeko. I mean,
Francis Ampofo.
Yeah. They all stem from this fishing town, this fishing area called Bukum, which is a fantastic beehive of boxing. They fish or they box, you know. And Richard's from there, Duke's from there, and it's you know, it's well known that more world champions have been found in that small space in Bukum than anywhere in the world. Oh. So you know, it's a hotbed of boxing. You know, it's very poor. Yeah, I mean, it's very basic. I mean, the facilities there ain't great. The opportunities there ain't great. You know, but people get on with it. You know, and they get on with it with a smile. You know what I mean? There's a certain kind of special something in the air in Bukum that fighters love to fight. You know? It's great if you go there. A friend of ours is there at this minute, Jim Fenwick, who follows us all the way around the world. He's a photographer. He's actually in Bukum now as I speak, doing some photography for us. We're going to be doing a documentary and bits and pieces in regards to Richard and Bukum and stuff like that. So he's actually with my mum.
Wow,
now, as we speak, so yeah, it's really
the Ashanti town.
Well, it is a shanty town, but Ashanti region is up in the north.
Up in the north.
Accra, where Bukum is a small place in Accra, is down south.
And Kumasi?
Kumasi is in the Ashanti region. Yeah, it's up north, yeah. But most of the fighters come from Accra. They come from Bukum. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a legacy that we get more fighters across Ghana to come and fight. Majority of the ones come from Accra, but with the exposure that Richard's getting and what he's bringing to it, Ghanaian boxing, and Duke following him, and also our shows back in Ghana, Streetwise Promotions back in Ghana, we're spreading our wings across more areas of Ghana to get more boxers in. So yeah.
So obviously they come from Ghana, but they fight in abroad in the UK.
Well,
Europe.
the idea is that, I mean, the market in Ghana is very difficult. There's not a lot of great money there for boxers and stuff. But to learn your trade there is fantastic because the fighters there are tough. They're tough. I mean, you get journeymen here that will take you around the ring and kind of look after you. In Ghana, there's no such thing. A journeyman is someone who's going to come out and want to kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? There's no.
He's going to want to win.
Yeah, he's going to want to make you win. You know what I'm saying? He's going to make you win by. You know what I mean, he's going to give it his all, and it's tough. And I've witnessed some of these fights, and they're tough. They're tough. Richard came through that upbringing, so did Duke, and it's tough. Do you know what I mean? And I hope one day to take some UK fighters back to Ghana. Do you know what I mean? And do some training out there with them and see how they get on with it and see how they. And it'd be good for them to understand different styles of training, different conditions of training and it can only.
It's a celebrity. So Richard COMMEY right now is a major celebrity in Ghana.
Richard COMMEY right now is the #1 boxer in Ghana. He's the one that all Ghanaians are hoping, pinning their hopes on being a world champion. Wow. I mean, so there's a lot of news.
He's got a lot of weight on his shoulders.
He's got a lot of weight. We all have. I mean,
the whole country on his.
Yeah, we're going out. We're going out to Ghana in a couple of weeks to do some press conferences and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Would you say, obviously, in Ghanaian promotion, when they're promoting shows, is there any major promoters that are running out there, or are they just little guys that are trying to do their own thing?
We've been doing, last couple of years, we've been doing promotions over there. With Streetwise Promotions, with Richard featuring on some of them. Duke featured last Christmas on one. We're going to go out in April and do some. It's not easy because the infrastructure for listen, it's hard here. It's hard in the UK. I mean, unless you've got TV. I mean, you look at the great work that the Goodwin family have been doing, but it's been tough. I remember Steve's first show up in Milton Keynes, and you know what I mean. He had, you know what I mean, literally no one there, and it was a bit of a farce, and you know what I mean. And it's been tough. It's been a tough road for them, but they've persevered, and they've got a model that works for them. You know what I mean? And without Steve, there'll be a lot of fighters out there that wouldn't get the opportunity to fight. You know, they just wouldn't. And look what he's done. Look what he's turned York into. Definitely. Do you know what I'm saying? But and he's done that all without TV. I mean, your Warrens, your Eddie Hearns, your Hennessy's, your Maloney's, Kelly Maloney's. You know what I mean? When they had the TV, obviously you can offset a lot of stuff with your TV revenue and stuff coming in. But when you're doing small hall shows, you know what I mean? You've got the likes of, you know what I mean, Mickey Elliott and I mean, obviously Steve Goodwin and some of the others. I remember Miranda Carter used to do some shows on a Sunday. It's tough for those kind of people, and if the fighters don't sell tickets, do you know what I mean?
They're not going to make no money.
You know what I mean? So they've really done well over the years.